room, you can't move, you can't speak. It's a horrible, horrible feeling.
You know, you're looking out into the darkness and then you see a figure, but it's darker than the darkness.
I just get this like really creepy feeling, and I see this like shadowy, demon-looking figure in the front seat of the car.
She used to come into my room at night and stand right by my bed, and I just was petrified.
I remember I saw something fly by my bedroom window. We heard the bathroom door shut. So then we looked out my bedroom window down the hallway, and the bathroom door was wide open.
So we came around the bend and we saw eye shine. This thing stood up. I mean, it stood up. And it had high pointed ears. It had a snout, had a long arm, and it grabbed the deer.
Onward!
Let's go.
Let's go.
Ashley, welcome back to Let's Get Freaky podcast. You was with us not too long ago, and I had the pleasure of being on your podcast quite recently as well. It was so cool. We've had a lot of conversations. If you put our podcasts together and listen to them back to back, like it's about nearly 5 hours.
Yes, it's like all day. You're welcome, everybody.
Yeah, no problem.
We are here for you.
You can listen to our life story in 5 hours, pretty much.
Right? Yeah, seriously.
So for anyone that didn't listen to those episodes, crazy if you haven't, because I thought something paranormal was happening then. But it's your pup, right? It's a dog?
It's a dog.
Okay.
He is not allowed in here. He is not allowed in here. He's so big, he's not allowed in here. And somebody has opened the baby gate, haven't they?
It's okay. You can get involved.
It's okay. He'll eventually get tired and leave. Or somebody will come and get him. Maybe they'll entice him out with food.
So last time we talked, as I said, we talked for no, I've already said that.
A long time.
It was a long time. But for those who didn't listen to the podcast last time, do you want to tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and where they can find you? We'll start with that.
Yeah. Well, I am Ashley. I'm from the Ghost Gossip Podcast. I am the creator and the host of the Ghost Gossip Podcast, and I am a paranormal enthusiast, storyteller. I love meeting people and hearing about their stories. I talk about haunted histories. My husband and I visit haunted hotels, and it's become my whole personality, and I love every minute of it. And yeah, Ghost Gossip, I'm everywhere, I've been told. What, Lee, your friend Lee, I interviewed with him and he goes, "You're everywhere." And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I am not sorry. I have worked hard. I am everywhere. But
Lee's
yeah,
awesome.
it's fun. It's fun. And I've met so many amazing people, including yourself. And I mean, it's incredible because it's like, it makes you feel less alone in these encounters and, less crazy.
Yeah, we're not crazy. That's the thing. The more people share their experiences, the more normal this becomes, really. The fact that most people have these experiences, there's not many people, as we spoke about before, there's not many people that you meet that have never had any kind of paranormal experience or know someone that they're very close to that's had a big experience. It's very rare. The amount of times, I think we spoke about this last time, but the amount of times you meet someone that you tell them you do a paranormal show and they give you that funny look and they're like, don't really believe in that kind of stuff. But then they tell you this incredible story that, that you sort of think to yourself, how can you not believe in this? How can you not? There's so much evidence now, even our government are telling us there's UFOs now. So
I know my husband and I talked about that last night. He's like, have you heard? And he we've talked about this. He believes in UFOs and Bigfoot, but spirits, but he's a believer now. He is definitely a believer now because he's had his own experiences. But he was telling me about all the evidence that like the pilots, the Army pilots have seen and what they found. And I'm like,
There's so much. There's so much. There's so much evidence now. There's so many credible people. And I think everyone is credible who shares an experience. But when you get like army generals and people like that come out, police officers, for me, that's like, wow, because they don't need to say these things.
No,
Like, why you don't get anything for saying these things?
they're not getting anything except critiqued by other people by it, you know?
Absolutely. So we're living in wild times, but it's very interesting times.
It is interesting. Most definitely.
So last time we talked, I know you gave us a lot. You know, you bought you bought a haunted house.
Yeah.
And you have some wild, scary experiences.
Mm-hmm.
It's not all negative, if I remember rightly. It's not. It's you know. But did we miss anything last time we talked? Was there anything we didn't touch on last time?
I can't, Tommy, I should have listened back today, but
It's okay.
I didn't.
It's okay.
I'm
We'll
not
go
even
over it
gonna
again.
But did I tell you about the Bible in the house? I can't remember if I told you about the Bible.
I can't remember. Refresh.
Can I tell you again?
Yeah, of course.
I find that I leave this part out a lot because this scared me.
Mhm.
And we talked about sometimes when you're scared, you block it out. The guy that built the house, he built it in 1999, and his sister, this story comes from his sister. So she told me that when he built the house, he wanted to bless it, and he put 4 Bibles in the corner of the basement, like each corner, to bless the house before it was finished being built. Well, when he passed away in 2018, and then his mother passed away shortly after, they lived in the house together. The sister inherited the house. She lives out of state, and she was doing the best she can. She's elderly. She was doing the best she could to clean the house out because, when people pass, they don't take anything with them, So she had this 3-story, 5,500 square foot house that she was now responsible for and cleaning out. It took her 4 years, like just 4 years. So when I finally bought the house, I got an email from her attorney saying, hey, she's driving from North Carolina down. Like, is it okay if she leaves some stuff in the house? And I told her, I said, you know what? Don't worry about it. I will leave whatever she needs to leave. I'll clean it out. I'll handle it. So one of the things that was left in the house was like it was a rinky dink, little itty bitty, like entertainment studio or setup thing, like a TV stand. And it had 2 little doors, and it was really wonky and kind of like doing this. It wasn't put together very well. And so we were getting rid of it. And we opened the doors, and there was this Bible in there. And she had told me about the Bible. So when I saw it, I was like, that's one of those Bibles she was telling me about. And I'm like, I might not be super religious, but I'm not going to throw away a Bible, right? So I was like, maybe I'll mail it to her. It was her brother's. Maybe I'll mail it to her. So I put it away and didn't think anything about it. While we were moving, I noticed that this Bible was moving, and it was coming from where I had it, and it was ending up on the floor open. And then there was a piece of paper about being saved that was like typewritten. And that piece of paper was on the floor open as well. And I was like, huh. So I would put the paper back in the Bible, close the Bible, put the Bible back on the shelf. Well, when it happened again, I was like, okay, I have 3 kids. They were like 9 and 10 at the time. So I was like, maybe they're playing with it. Maybe they're just pulling it out. They're kids. Who knows? So I was like, hey, are y'all messing with this Bible? That look that kids give you when they have no idea what you're talking about?
Mhm.
And they're like,
Have I? Have I? But they haven't. Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell when my kids are fibbing or not. And they're
Mhm.
like, what Bible? And I was like, okay. So I picked the Bible up, put it away, and it happened again. So I was like, At this point, I'm like, who's messing with me? Who in this house is messing with me? Because I was dealing with all that other stuff at the time too. I was feeling like I was being watched. Lights were coming on and off. And I was like, this is weird. So I took the Bible, I put the page back in the Bible and put it in the storage room up on the shelf. Out of sight, out of mind. They are now all taller than me, but at the time they were not, and they could not reach up there. So months passed. Months. I have forgotten about this Bible. I haven't seen it since. I've been going round and round with my house ghost. We are just butting heads, I'm trying to force him out. He's keeping me awake. I am cleaning out my closet in my bedroom. And I have ADHD. And if you have ADHD, you might know you put things in piles and sometimes in bags. And then you put those bags out of sight, out of mind. You don't see them and you don't think about them anymore. So I was going through my closet because we had moved and I had stuffed a bunch of crap in bags when we moved. So I was cleaning out my closet to organize. And I pulled out a piece of paper and I opened that piece of paper, and it was that piece of paper from the Bible talking about being saved.
Whoa.
There is no way in hell I would have ever taken anything into my closet, especially that piece of paper. I started crying. I mean, it was like an immediate reaction. I started crying. I started hyperventilating, like having a panic attack. And I called my husband because he's somewhere else in the house watching TV. And I was like, did you do this? Like, I'm ready to divorce. I am ready to fight. Did you do this? And he's like, I don't even know where you have that. So I went downstairs, put my hand up. The Bible was there. Took it off the shelf. The paper was not in there. So I put the paper back in there. I walked it to my husband. I handed it to him and I said, get rid of it. Don't tell me what you do with it. I don't need to know, but get rid of it. And I never saw it again.
Whoa. Man. So
that scared me.
Yeah. I'm pretty, I don't know if you did share that last time. I feel like we may have been on your show, or I can't remember when we said about it. Or maybe I've heard it listening to another one of your podcasts, but
I don't know. But if you're hearing it for the first time,
wild.
You're welcome. Yeah.
It's very interesting. But so you took it as a negative thing.
He wanted to save me because, like I said, I'm more spiritual and I'm not religious. I think he wanted to try to save me. He thought I was going straight to hell,
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was, and I asked Daniel not too long ago, I was like, hey, honey, what did you ever do with that Bible? Because we didn't talk about it again. We did not talk about it again. I never asked. He never told me because I told him I had done some research about getting rid of it. And I was scared if I got rid of it, that he would make things worse for me. Because at the time, he was making my life very difficult. And so I did not want to upset him further. And so finally, I was just like, I told Daniel, because he doesn't care. He's like, whatever. And at the time, he truly didn't believe he knew there was something weird, but he didn't believe we had a ghost in the house. So he didn't care.
So this is the spirit that's still in the house now.
He's not in this house, but yeah, he's at the other house.
Oh, yeah, sorry, the other house. Yeah, but you have a spirit in the house that you're in now. Is that right? Yeah.
He's very friendly. He likes to. He's usually. I know psychic mediums that tune in. They usually pick him up right over here somewhere. I swear he just likes to sit and listen to me tell stories, and he likes to listen. But yeah, he's a very friendly ghost. He's Albert the friendly ghost. I call him Al.
So have you seen him?
I have seen him once. I was in the kitchen. We had just moved in, and I saw him move out of my peripheral vision. I feel him more than I see him, but I saw him move. I have a stairwell that goes up to the bonus room from the laundry room, and I saw a figure move to those stairs. And then my middle daughter, we're blended, so we have 3 children two are my husband's and 1 is mine. So my daughter, who's our middle child, saw him not too long ago at the top of the bonus room stairs, and she saw him as a shadow as well.
Whoa. As just like a shadow figure.
And I don't think I've told you this. So I was talking to my neighbor who knew him personally, and I asked him all these questions about Al, because I knew his name was Al because of my neighbor. And so I was asking him all these questions, and he's like, yeah. I was like, is he short and round? And he's like, yes. And I was like, and I can't remember. I asked some more questions, and he's like confirming all of them. And he goes, what's funny is you're not the first person to see him and feel him. 2 owners before you also did. So he is
interesting. Interesting.
Yep.
Because that's something I often wonder with I think I told you when I was on your podcast that I grew up in a haunted house. It's where this all started for me. I would love to go back to that house, talk to the people that live there now.
Yeah.
And I could do it because I've still got family in that area. So I could go back, knock on the door and just say, do you guys, I know this might be random and I don't want to scare anyone, but do you guys have experiences in this house?
Hello.
How do you think that would go down? I mean, I guess it depends on
Whatever happened here?
on the have you seen any Shakespearean looking
Well, you know,
entities? Yeah.
do you have any men in boots or a naked woman running around this house? Any that looks like this woman? Anything? No? Okay. I told you I thought he was attached to you.
Yes. Yeah.
So it would be interesting to hear
It would be
they
interesting.
experience the man in boots.
Yeah. Because you do quite often hear when another family moves into a house, they might not experience anything. And then you wonder, is it just the family? Like, as we say, connection to the family? Is it just some people just not, well, obviously some people are not open to this stuff, so are not going to experience anything.
Right.
But it would be interesting to know. I might have to do that next time.
You should, and let me know.
Yeah.
Let us all know how that goes. But I had a guest not too long ago, and she had a haunted house. It wasn't always haunted. Her husband was in the army, and she went somewhere, or he went somewhere with the army. I can't remember where she said, but she talks about it on her episode in a few weeks. But she thinks he brought something back with him it was some kind of natural disaster that hit in the Caribbean somewhere. And so the National Guard or whoever he works for were sent to help. And so when he came back, things started happening. Well, they owned the house for a while and they rented it out. And the families that rented the house out after, that rented it from them asked the neighbors, hey, is there something going on in this house? So they weren't the only ones.
Interesting. Did he bring a physical object back? Do you know?
I can't remember if she said he actually brought something back. He might have, but I don't know because it was hit really hard with one of the hurricanes down there. So I don't know if he brought something back physically or maybe if something just hitchhiked a ride with him, you know?
Yeah, interesting. I talked to someone very recently from who was a cool dude that was at Skinwalker Ranch. He was working at Skinwalker Ranch for a week. Yeah. I'd love to go there, even though I would be kind of worried there, but I would like to go there. And he brought back like a stone to his house in Texas.
No.
And he was seeing like things were happening once he came home, and he was seeing things, and yeah, man. So he got rid of the stone.
Don't take things.
And it kind of stopped.
Yeah, you don't take things.
Yeah.
No. No, I went to MSP not too long ago, and that was one thing they told us. Do not take anything from here. They do not like when you take things from them. Do not take anything from here. And I actually found a penny, and I moved the penny because I found it on the floor, and I moved it to one of the prison beds. And after I did that, I was like, oh, I wonder if I shouldn't have moved that penny. But where I found it was just on the floor.
Yeah.
So I put it on the bunk bed, like as an offering. So, but I had a moment of like, maybe I shouldn't have done that.
I wouldn't bring anything back from Skinwalker Ranch, that's for sure. No way.
That place is freaky.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's interesting. Well, what are your thoughts on things like that? On like areas of high strangeness? I mean, I know these places get commercialized and they get a lot of, attention from like TV shows and stuff like that, and they build a reputation. But I've heard that area,
right,
where Skinwalker Ranch is, even like the surrounding area, is said to be pretty wild as well. It's not just Skinwalker Ranch itself; it's like the whole area around it.
Yeah. I think the easiest way to explain my feelings and thoughts about like skinwalkers and that area is I believe Native Americans. And they believed completely in those entities, and I believe them.
Absolutely.
And so that's how I feel about land and curses on land and entities that protect the land or cryptids. I mean, if Native Americans have seen them and speak of them, that's who I'm going to believe.
Absolutely. And a lot of people won't even say the word skinwalker.
No, they won't.
so-
That's
so-
why my eyes got big when you kept saying it. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God.
Maybe I shouldn't say it
okay.
anymore. Maybe I shouldn't say it anymore. But a lot of because I found that quite shocking when I first started the podcast and I was talking to people about this kind of stuff. How some people are like, I won't say it, but like they'd spell it out, or they'd say something close to it. They wouldn't want to say it. I used to find that quite strange. I was like, wow, there's a lot of power there.
Well, I interviewed somebody. I was on their show. So yes, I was on their show. They interviewed me and I said the word, and they're out in Arizona or Utah. Their eyes got really big and they
Yeah.
were like, we don't say it because there's so many out here. And they called it a flesh pedestrian, I think, or something like that.
What
or
was that?
something. I was like, wait, what? Flesh pedestrian? I could be
Flesh
wrong.
pedestrian.
I could be wrong. They
Yeah.
called it something. I'll have to listen back to see what they called it, but both of them had a visceral reaction when I said it. They were like,
Yeah.
so
I mean, that's powerful.
I'm like, mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
they say, like, if you say the word, it brings attention to you and they start
Yeah.
coming. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know that one of my friends, John, who is the host of the Myths, Monsters, and Mullets podcast,
Mm-hmm.
he saw like a rake. He has an experience with a rake, and
Whoa.
I'll have to send you his info. His story, I believe John completely. Like, John is a good dude, and John is not, he's not out here making stuff up. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
Like,
mhm.
when he told me this story, his whole body language changed. He got upset. His eyes started to water. It scared him.
Mhm,
It
mhm.
scared him. It came out of the ground. It was coming out of the ground, and it actually
Whoa.
scratched his truck. And he has pictures.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow!
Yeah.
Did it?
John-
Did it
I'll
attack
send
him?
you his info. It reached out for his truck as he drove by, and he swerved. He said he jokes. I'll let him tell you the whole story. But his wife was with him. But his wife was doing something on her phone, and
Yeah.
she didn't look up until he swerved. And she's like, "What?" And so he has pictures of his truck.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
I had a lady called Jeannie on the podcast not too long. Oh, I think it was quite a while ago now. I can't remember what episode number it was, but she saw a
You
similar
have so
thing.
many.
We're in the 330s now.
I know. I'm at 80.
That's
Woo!
good. That's good. Yeah. She saw, what did she see? She saw something come out of the ground. Like, she didn't, because normally when people talk about the rake, they describe it as skinny, white,
Like, yeah, muscular,
muscular,
but skinny.
yeah, skinny, like, just, a lot of people know what a rake looks like, but that's like, people describe it the same. She described it like, she said it was like black, and it was kind of like a rake, how you would describe a rake, but black, and it was coming out of the ground, like you just said. And I mean, that is terrifying. So many
Is she
people
in the
see these
States,
things.
or is she?
Yeah, she was in the States. I'm trying to remember exactly where.
Yeah.
Oh, my memory's so bad.
Yeah, because I'd be interested in it, because I know where he lives.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm wondering if it was close to where he saw it.
Yeah.
Well, did you hear that 911 phone call about the guy in North Carolina who was driving and something jumped in the bed of his truck?
Yes. Yeah, I did. I heard that the other day, actually. Yeah, it
And
sounds.
that he thinks it was a rake?
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
describing it like a rake. Yeah.
Ooh,
Terrifying.
that gave me chills.
Terrifying. There's so
Yes.
many things out there. Obviously we've got Bigfoot, we've got Dogman, we've got the rake. So many people see these things. What are your thoughts
Yeah.
on cryptids? What do you think they are?
Gosh, I don't even know. I think they exist. I have a friend that thinks Bigfoot is a giant sloth. He wrote a book about it.
Yes.
And, reading his book, I'm like, that makes sense. It can make sense, his theory. And
Well,
actually,
we know we did have giant sloths, didn't we?
yes, we
But-
did. Yeah. Yeah. And so he wrote a book about it recently, about his theory about it, but he's not a Bigfoot hunter. He's not out hunting, but he had an experience. He was out in the woods in Appalachia, and it was like raining, and we did an episode together, but it was him, his brother, and his friend, and they were out and they heard something, and he said it was the loudest bone-chilling, like howler monkey whoop, like scream. And then there was another one behind them, and they were like chilled to the bone, petrified. But yeah, he thinks Bigfoot's a giant sloth. I don't know what I think it is, but I think they exist. I think they're out there. I think that it's just there's too many sightings across continents to deny that there's not something out there. You know, who am I to say, oh, that doesn't exist just because I haven't seen it? I can't see the wind, but I know it's there, you know?
True. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can't see Wi-Fi, but we're using it.
Yeah, or the cloud, wherever the cloud
Yeah, where is the
exists, up
cloud?
above us somewhere. But yes, we use it and it works. So I'm like, and that's kind of how I explain to people. They're like, well, I can't see it. I'm like, oh, honey, don't get me started. I try to be very respectful, but like, I'm like, do you see the wind? And they're like, well, I see the trees blow. I was like, no, you see the effects of wind, but you don't see the wind.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
I can
interesting.
feel the wind. Well, I can feel spirits. So
yeah, the giant sloth. That's an interesting theory because we know they obviously
it is. Hold on.
at one
Let me
point they
grab this
did
book.
definitely exist.
But that's his book,
Oh,
Bigfoot or
okay.
Giant Sloth by Justin Reed. It won't focus for whatever reason.
Interesting. That looks good. So he sounds like he had a typical Bigfoot encounter with the sounds. Like that is the kind of that is a very a lot of Bigfoot people that have these experiences.
Yeah.
That is quite a common thing to happen. Like the sounds of being surrounded by these creatures.
Yep. And you know, and they were trying to, I can't remember, he talked about it on his episode, and it was comical, of course, you know, because he's out there with his friends and his brother, and it was a funny story. But yeah, it was enough. It happened, God, he's in his mid-30s, so it happened what, maybe 10 15 years ago, but he still remembers it. And he's like, that's, you just don't forget that noise. He's like, I've never heard anything like it other than it's close to a howler monkey, like just the sound of it and how loud it is. And yeah. And you know, we don't have monkeys here. I mean, then
Not that we
again,
know of. Yeah.
we did have some monkeys escape a facility in South Carolina like last year, and they were on the loose, but that was another time.
What were they? Chimpanzees?
It was like Jumanji. No, I can't remember what they were. They weren't chimpanzees, but they were from a research facility, and they broke out. And I still don't know if they've gotten them all, but they're in the low country. They were in the low country of South Carolina. I'm telling you, it was like Jumanji over here.
That sounds amazing. So I know you've talked to a lot of different people about a lot of different topics. What are some of the stories, experiences that you've heard that stand out that
Yours?
freaks you out? Oh, really?
Yours?
See, it's quite strange. I don't find I obviously I don't find my they were scary. They really affected me. But when I think of my experiences compared to a lot of other people, I don't think mine are that wild. But maybe that's just because I've experienced it. I don't know. I know it is wild.
You saw
really.
your mama naked doppelganger walking through your house.
That is
Tommy.
pretty wild. Yeah.
And then the story of your mom's friend, the psychoanalyst.
Yes. Yeah.
That story, when you told me that, I knew what you were going to say before you said it. It brought me to tears because it was so powerful, because she was trying to communicate. That story truly, I can see it happening in my head as you were, like, still to this day. And like we talked weeks ago, and your words are living in my head, and I'm watching her experience. No, it's not a bad thing, but like just being able to visualize this woman pass through her room and try to communicate, like stop in the midst of all this, like all these other spirits moving through, and look right at her. And then she take a walk and see her grave like that. It just,
wild.
that was one of the craziest stories that I've ever heard.
Wow. I mean, I'm not sure if I've shared it on Let's Get Freaky. I'll tell it again now, just in case I haven't. I don't know if I have.
Please.
But
they need to hear this story.
My mum's friend in France, who she's friends with today, when she was a kid, she lived in a house in like a little village in France, nice, quiet little village, but they lived right next to a graveyard. So her actually, I believe she could actually, the graveyard was like by her window. So if she looked out, she can see a graveyard. But when she was a child, she would lay in her bed and she would see people walking through a room. They'd come through one wall and they'd walk through the other wall. They'd come in and out, and it was all different types of people. Sometimes there was lots of different people. Sometimes there was one or two. It was just like a kind of like picture like an airport, and people walking through. That's the kind of vibe I get when I think about it. And is that some kind of portal or something like that? Very possible. It's next to a graveyard, so there's obviously people that are being buried there. And is it something to do with that? Are they coming in and out? But anyway, she would never communicate with these people. She'd just lay in bed scared and just watch them walk through. And they're all different types of people. But on one occasion, there was a girl walking through, and she gets to like level with her bed, level with her, stops, turns to her, and the spirit entity starts trying to communicate. So she starts trying to speak, and the girl in bed, she can hear noise, but she can't make out what she's saying. And they're trying to communicate, and she just can't understand what she's trying to say. And anyway, this spirit entity kind of gives up and just carries on going. I'm getting chills thinking about that. And she just walks through the. I don't make you cry again. No, I'm sorry.
No, don't look at me. Keep talking.
I'm sorry. So she walks through and she's gone. So I don't know if it was the next day. I think it was like a week later, or whatever it was. They was in the graveyard, so they're walking through the graveyard, and there's a new fresh grave, and you know what's coming. They go up to the grave, and there's a picture of the girl, and she obviously remembered that was the girl she saw that night, and it was like, whoa. And it's a wild story, but obviously, and the interesting thing is, I don't know how long they lived in that house after that, but that lady's now my mum's friend. She doesn't have experiences anymore. That was like, it was only when she was a kid that she had these experiences, but it fascinated her so much. Obviously, she's like a parapsychologist now, and she looks into this kind of stuff, and she's still very interested in it, but doesn't have experiences anymore. I find that quite interesting.
She shut it down.
Yeah, which
she
I
closed
think
off that part of her brain. She's like, nope.
Which I think you can do.
Well, another story that was really cool was I just had an interview. Her name is Heather. She's from Drop Dead Paranormal, and she is an investigator. And she told me she was at a location. I can't remember if it was McIntyre Villa, if it was Beatty in Missouri, but they watched this balloon, and this balloon had helium in it, and it was not hitting the ceiling, and it was almost like it was being led, and it went up the stairs, down the hall, ducked, like one of the parts of the hall kind of like dipped. The balloon dipped down under that dip and then continued on and then ended up in a landing, and then it stopped moving. So that was really crazy. And that she watched, her and her husband watched that happen, and they were like, whoa. And then, oh gosh, while you were talking, I was thinking of some of the other stories that I've been told. Oh, I had another one. Maybe it'll come back to me, but that one was really cool.
Was she in a haunted house? Was she experiencing a lot of other
it was a haunted
activities?
location. She was she was investigating one of the local places in Missouri, because Missouri, the Midwest in the U.S. is just so haunted. There's just everything is haunted in the Midwest. So she was in, I cannot remember if it was Beatty or if it was McIntyre or if it was another location, but they were there investigating, and they watched the balloon be led by something, and then it just stopped.
Whoa.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
That was really cool. Oh, I had another one. Gosh, what was it?
I'm thinking It, the which is the freaky when the balloon moves in It.
Yes. And it was, I think she said it was a red balloon too.
Oh, man.
All the colors in the rainbow. Of course, it was red.
I had a guest very early on, and again, my memory is letting me down. Can't remember who it was, but they had a similar thing in their house. I know they was in a haunted house, a lot of high strangeness going on in the house, but they had a balloon thing like that as well, where a balloon followed them around the house. Yeah, who was? Oh, it was
The
Sarah.
balloon followed them.
Yes, it was Sarah from the Whispering Woods podcast. It was very early on in Let's Get Freaky. So you got to go right back to listen to that. But it was yeah, same kind of thing. I'm
Yes,
pretty
I
sure
will.
she had a balloon following her around the house as well. But she had a lot of weird stuff going on in her house. Man.
I love haunted houses. I don't miss living in one. You know what I mean? Like stuff happens here, but it's nothing like living in the house that I lived in. Like that was, and people think I'm crazy. I didn't mind living there. I got so used to it. It became home. Like it just became normal. But now that I live in a house that's not haunted by something that doesn't want me there, this is home. Like coming home and feeling welcome in your own home. It's lovely,
That's
actually.
the thing. That's the thing.
Instead of, yes. Because it always felt like we were not, that's not where we lived. Like we were not supposed to be there. Like we were walking, it was ours, but it was like, it wasn't. And we didn't even call it ours. We called it Wayne's house. Wayne's house.
That is wild. And now, but I think because like we talked about before, most places I think are haunted. And I think if you're not, I think you're going to experience some sort of activity.
Oh, I remember.
You remember the story? Okay, go for it.
But I remember what I was going to tell you.
Go for it. Go for it.
JJ. JJ with Southern Demonology podcast. JJ is another one you need to talk to. I'm not sure if you have or not. He is incredible. He is an ancient demonologist. So he does not study demonology as like what we would know, like in what movies and pop culture is kind of how I referred to it, like pop culture demons. He studied ancient demonology and how it deals with religion in the Bible and stuff like that. He was working in Japan. Oh gosh, this gives me such chills. He was working in Japan. And he said he had worked really late and he had finally like passed out. It was early in the morning. Oh, I'm getting chills. Oh my gosh. And I cannot tell it as good as him, but I'm going to try. He said he was woken up by something like banging on the balcony door. And it kept saying, "Hi do, hi do, hi do, hi do." He said he got up. He was, I can't shake it. He got up and went to his Japanese translating, and he looked up the word, and it was enter, enter, enter. That thing was demanding entry, and it was on his balcony, banging on his door.
Whoa.
That's pretty much what I said. I was like, wait, what?
What did he do?
He did not enter. He did not let it in. He did not
blame
do.
him. I do not blame him. Whoa.
Well, and I asked him, I was like, the entities in Asian culture, they are a lot different than what we would come to know as demons in our culture. And I don't know. He said it just seemed very dark. It was oppressive. And it wasn't coming into his ears. He couldn't hear it like through his ears. He was hearing it in his brain.
Oh, wow.
And then he was telling me how the Japanese, and I could be completely wrong. I am not an expert when it comes to Japanese culture at all. But he said that they have this thing about walking through cemeteries and graveyards. Like they believe that if you do that, you're like kind of opening up yourself for something to come with you or to attach to you. And he lived right by a huge graveyard. And I was like, well, I have a question. If you live there, like, how do you combat that? Because you kind of have to walk past it. And he's like, they put out bowls of salt in their houses, like next to entryways and stuff, to help guard from negativity.
Interesting. Yeah, I'd like to get into like the
Very
Japanese
cool. And
culture.
you should talk to JJ. And then Chris with the Wandering Road podcast. I know that I had sent you an email because he had asked me. He's like, I really would love to talk to Tom.
We recorded last night. He's a cool dude.
Isn't he awesome?
Yeah, he's
yes.
awesome. Yeah.
He has some really cool stories too.
Yeah. He's coming on Let's Get Freaky soon.
Good.
In the new
I'll
year.
let him tell you his stories.
Go on, give us a teaser if you want to give us a
You
teaser.
and him. Well, he grew up in a haunted house.
Mhm.
His mom was Catholic. His dad was Hindu, I believe, and his uncle was Muslim. So they had a lot of energy in there. I'll tell you this one story. But if he tells you, you got to act surprised, okay?
Yeah.
You can't say Ashley told me. You got to act surprised. Yes. Oh my gosh. So this house, since the moment they moved in, was haunted. Okay. Right before they moved out, years and years later, they lived there like 6-7 years, I believe. His mom was cleansing, like smoke cleansing, how the Catholics do with like the incense and stuff. And she got this overwhelming feeling like she needed to stop. Like something was just not happy that she was doing that. He said that she had a dream that night. Oh, that there was an old woman came to his mother in her dream and said, "You're trying to run me out of my own house. If you keep trying to do that, I'm going to kill you." And he said his mother in her dream got out of bed, grabbed that woman by the neck and said, "You're not killing anybody." I'm telling you, he's got some crazy dreams or crazy stories too. Y'all are going to have a fun time.
Whoa. Yeah, because we talked last night. We talked mainly about football, to be honest. He was talking about doing we talked about football so much. He was like, we should do a football podcast and call it Let's Get Footy. I was like, oh, that's a great idea. but I shared my experiences with him, and he was like, man, after we finished recording, and like you were saying about my experiences, he was like, that's really freaked me out. And I was like, whoa, like, I'm sorry again.
Yeah. Well, no, like, you know me, I get excited when you tell me your stories. You know, I'm like, yes, tell me more. He's like you.
Yeah.
He gets a little freaked out. You know, he's like, oh, so yeah.
We like being scared.
That's why y'all too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, where's my holy water? Where's my holy water? I love him. Chris is awesome.
He's a cool dude. He is a cool dude. Did I tell you about my Ramsey Danger story? Did I tell you that when I was on your podcast?
What?
The Ramsey Danger story? Did I tell you that?
Which one?
I basically just told
think so.
the end of the story, but I'll tell you this. Because we were talking about haunted houses and like a vibe in a house.
Uh-huh.
This is weird. So I was about 14 when this happened. And my nan and granddad, we had like a little old, it was like a little holiday home. It wasn't too far from where we lived. It was like a little cottage that my nan and granddad had that the whole family used to go down to on the weekend every now and again. It was like a really cool old cottage that was probably haunted. Like there was a weird vibe there as well, to be honest. It was very old. It was like 400 odd years old, this cottage. But anyway, I think it was anyway. But they decided to sell it, which we didn't really want them to, but because of they didn't want to travel there anymore, and they didn't want the upkeep of it because it was such an old cottage. There was a lot of work they had to do on it, so they sold it. But they after a little while they started looking for another holiday home. They were like, okay, we're going to get another one a little bit closer, so that we've got another place we can go to, but you know it's not as far. So they were looking at a few different places, and they found this beautiful house. Like it was a beautiful house, big house. And to be honest with you, like it must have been like, I didn't really understand this at the time, but it must have been a good price because it was like a big house. Like for a holiday home, it's pretty wild that my nan and granddad were going to buy it as a holiday home because it was huge. Right. And they found this house, they'd been to see it, they liked it, they wanted to buy it, and they wanted the whole family to come down and see it. So on a Saturday, my mum, my dad, my brother, my aunts, my uncles, we all went down to this house to look at it. They wanted our opinion. So we've got there, and I promise you, as soon as you walk through the front door, you just got hit with this evil. I know that sounds, but it was like, whoa.
No,
me and my brother were like looking at it. And bearing in mind, we'd lived in a haunted house, so we were like kind of aware of this sort of stuff. Yeah, we got the vibe straight away. And this house was so old. It was like, it was. I think my mum said the other day it was like 16th century. I didn't realise it was as old as that, but apparently it was really it was very old. I can't remember exactly how old, but it was very old. There was like little hallways that led to nowhere. That's how. And like clearly there was something there before, but they built walls on it. So there was literally like a little alley
Wow.
in the house that led to just nowhere. And
Nowhere.
the guy that was showing us around said it was probably where maids used to work and stuff. That's how like big this house was. It was pretty crazy.
Wow.
And so we're looking around this house, and my nan and granddad are like quite excited about it, saying, "Oh, this can be the boys' room and stuff like that." And me and my brother are like, "We are not staying in this house. There is no way."
No, thank you.
No. So we've all looked around the house.
Wow.
And while we was there, me and my brother are going to my mum and dad, "This is freaky. Like, this is scary." And the lady that was like living in the house, she was there with her baby. It was just her and her baby. Her husband was like a pilot or something. He wasn't there. But my mum, when we left, my mum felt really bad leaving her in the house. That's how like we all got this vibe. Mum was like, "I don't want to leave that lady of her baby in this house." That's how we all felt. So anyway, we left, and I think we probably told my nan and granddad at the time that we were a bit freaked out. But my nan and granddad were like loving this house. They wanted to buy it. My granddad was at an event the week after, and my granddad was a very private person. He wasn't someone that would say, "I'm thinking of buying this house" and stuff. He was very private. He wouldn't tell people out of the family. He wouldn't tell people anything.
You mean he didn't have a podcast to talk about?
He didn't have
stuff?
a paranormal podcast where he used to get freaky. No, he didn't do any of that. But he was at this party, this event, and he's talking to this guy that he didn't know. So he's just having a conversation with this guy, and mid-conversation, this guy stopped my granddad and was like, "I don't know why I've got to tell you this, but I've got to tell you this. I don't know what it means, so forgive me, but Ramsey danger. Ramsey danger." That's what he said. That's all he said. And my granddad was like, "Whoa," because the name of the village where the house was called Ramsey. That gives me chills every time. Yeah. So needless to say, my granddad didn't buy the house.
Probably for the best.
Probably for the best. I kind of would be interested to know
Yikes.
what was going on there, but
Yeah, maybe you should visit Ramsey too.
yeah.
While you're on your tour of houses, go back to Ramsey.
yeah, it was very old. I was talking to my mum the other day about it because I've always called it like a Victorian house, but she said it was older than that. She said no, it was very, very old, and it must have been like they obviously were having trouble selling this house because for what it was. Yeah, absolutely. So
Golly.
that's
Wow.
another freaky house that I've been involved in.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like part of me is like, I wish you would have bought it, but then again,
Just to
it's
see.
probably it's
Yeah.
for the best. It's
Absolutely.
for the best.
I wasn't
Man,
staying
once
in
you
there.
get into something like that, sometimes it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to get out of. There
It'd be-
is a castle in Scotland for sale, and it came up on my husband's Instagram, and I was like, I
Let's
want
go.
that.
Let's go. Scotland is
Let's
so
go. We could
beautiful.
all live there.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll all have a little chamber
Yeah,
or
we
whatever.
wouldn't even know we were there.
Scotland is such a beautiful place. Have you been to Scotland before?
No, I want to go. It's on my
It is
list.
so beautiful. I've been to Edinburgh, and it was like Harry Potter world. It was like literally, I believe that's where Harry Potter was written as well. And you can just see it. You feel like you're in Hogwarts. It's like everywhere is Hogwarts. It is a cool place, spooky place.
I'll send you that castle because my husband sent it to me, and we sent it to my dad and was like, I want this for Christmas.
Yes, please.
He's like, buy it yourself. Oh,
So we'll start saving.
yeah,
We'll
we'll
set
start
a-
saving.
We'll set a GoFundMe up. If you'd like to
Yeah.
donate with like a castle.
Scotland. Mhm. Yep, that's beautiful.
So since we last talked, you've been on investigations. You've had a birthday as well. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank
It was your
you.
birthday
Yes, I did.
recently.
About a month ago. Yeah.
Happy
Yeah.
birthday. A month
Thank
ago.
you so much. Yes. I celebrate all the time, though. I'll take happy birthday in the middle of the year.
Yeah.
I'll be like, thanks. I love celebrating. Let's go out to eat. All right. But yes. So the week of my birthday, I have some friends in the Midwest, and Ashley with Penn Paranormal texts me on a Monday evening and goes, I know this is a Hail Mary pass, but We are going to the Missouri State Penitentiary on Sunday, as well as Belvoir Winery on Saturday, and Gloria Psychiatric Unit or Psychiatric Ward, or can't remember exactly what it's called, on Friday. Would you like to join us? And I'm in South Carolina, they're in Missouri and Kansas, and I was like, hold please. So I talked to my husband and I was like, it's the day after my birthday. What do you think? Because I would be leaving him alone with 3 teenagers, so my husband is not in the habit of ever telling me no. He usually is just like, is this a good idea? Kind of like we talk things out. But he looked at me and he's like, I think that would actually be really good for you. And I was a little shocked because we had, such short notice. It was a day after my birthday. Like we didn't have anything planned, but I was like, okay. So I looked at flights. I was able to get a flight. It didn't cost me hardly anything, thankfully. And I went out and I landed in Kansas City, Missouri on Friday. Not everybody knew I was coming, so I ended up surprising a lot of my friends out there. Jocelyn, Jen with Haunted Paranormal, Ashley Jen with Haunted Neighbors, and then Ashley Penn Paranormal, and then Tony and Erica. And I surprised them out there. We went to Glore. Glore, it was an old psychiatric facility. I don't know a lot about it because I haven't done any research. I've never been there, didn't even know it existed until that day. And it was a housing facility for children and adults with psychiatric needs. And it is actually still connected to the prison there in Jefferson or St. Joe, Missouri. Yeah. There's like a tunnel that still connects the facility to the prison that still is open today.
Whoa.
So we went into the tunnel where Jocelyn did a solo. It was really heavy. We caught one of the EVPs it sounded like a growl. I can't remember what it said. But when I went into the hospital, I felt fingers in my hair. And it reminded me of like when my daughter used to play with my hair when she was little and just ran her fingers through my hair. From the time I was in that building until the time I left and told them goodbye, my hair was being played with. And it was the craziest sensation because I just kept feeling every time I sat down or got low to the ground, I would feel just little fingers in my hair.
Whoa.
And I didn't see anything, didn't hear any EVPs, didn't hear any voices, didn't sense anything, but I could feel that sensation just in my hair. So that was Friday night. On Saturday, we went to Belvoir Winery, which used to be a nursing home, an orphanage, and a hospital. It was the Oddfellows home at one point, and they had a bunch of orphans. And from what I understand, it wasn't a bad orphanage. They took care of the children there. But it is known to be haunted by children spirits, as well as, I think, the old headmaster and some other people. I didn't really have any experience there per se, but I'm sensitive and I'm, psychic medium, whatever they want to call it. But I was sitting there and I was the new shiny person. They've never met me in person. So everybody was talking to me. And so I was telling them stories and, just meeting everybody. And I was sitting there and we were just talking and I feel this little person walk up. And I stopped and I'm like, somebody just joined us. And it was almost like they wanted to hear the stories that I was telling. And so we put a Raggedy Ann doll on the chair where I was sitting, and we started getting responses through the Raggedy Ann doll. It was like a little EMF Raggedy Ann doll, and it would answer, and it was going all the way to red and then coming back down and then all the way to red. And we assume her name is Alice and she's 4 and she has brown hair and green eyes.
Whoa.
Yep.
Wow. So you can.
And then I feel them. Yes, I can feel them when it's just an energy shift. It's just like if you and I were in the same room and somebody walked in and joined us, and we both turn and look at that person. We know they're there because even if we don't see them, we feel them enter the room and you're like, oh, hey, that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And then in my room, when I finally went to bed, which was funny because like we stayed up really late investigating, and I'm not an investigator. So I was just with a bunch of investigators, and I kept looking out the window, and I was like, oh. And they're like, Ashley, what are you looking at? I'm like, I don't know. I don't see anything, but there's something outside. There's something outside. And then they got through EVPs and the spirit box. I'm outside. And so there was, I don't know what it
Whoa.
was. I didn't see it, but there was something outside that I could feel that I was being pulled to the window. And then, so when I went to my room, I went to go to bed, and I could feel, I just got chills. I could feel people in there. And Tony was in there with me, but she was already asleep. And so I was trying to go to sleep, not disturb her. And I was like, listen, I know this is where y'all live and I am a guest, but please don't stare at me while I'm sleeping. And please don't grab my leg. And because I have to put 1 foot out of the covers and 1 foot under the covers just to get comfortable, please don't grab my feet. But please don't stare at me while I sleep either, because that's weird. But yeah, I never saw them, but it was just that feeling of them there. And just kids, when they come and stare at you in the middle of the night, it scares the crap out of you.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. It was just like they were just like so curious and they were playful. And then I went to MSP, Missouri State Penitentiary. I caught a shadow person on camera. I have a photo of it.
Whoa.
And he's a big guy. He's a big one. He's big. He's a big one. But I was in the psychiatric part, and they call them peekers at MSP. They are known to see shadow figures peek their head out of the cells. And that's pretty much what he was doing. It's a really cool picture. It's blurry, but I'll send it to you so you can see it.
Yeah. Is that on the gram? Did you put that on the Instagram?
No, I haven't shared it because I am just like, I don't need anybody hating on me about it. So
Yeah.
I know what I see. Even my husband looked at it. My husband, being the logical, scientific brain that he is, he's like, there is nothing that should be making that shadow. There is absolutely nothing. And it has a head, it's got shoulders, and it even looks like it's got a hand up, like it's like, hey, or, you can see it. It looks, I know it sounds stupid. It looks like a Sasquatch figure. That's how big it looks.
Whoa.
But you can see the head and shoulders. And so I sent it to my psychic medium friend, Jess Webb, and she said, that's a guard. He's huge. Like, that's a really giant prison guard. So I haven't talked to people at MSP to ask if there is a known guard that haunts there, but hopefully I'm going to have an interview with somebody. She's a tour guide there. And I'm going to ask her once I do talk to her about it.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Whoa.
Yeah,
so
but
did you
other than that,
see it with the naked eye, or did you just capture it on the camera?
No. I was taking pictures with my camera. I have one with a flash, so you can see what it looks like with the flash. And then I turn the flash off, and it's there. Like, it's just like you have all these little lights, the ghost hunting lights and stuff. And then this shadow just standing right at the prison door.
Whoa.
It's really wild.
Yeah.
And then we went into the hole. We tried doing Estes method in there. We wasn't getting anything. And then I said, I got one word, and it said, yeah. And so I asked them, I was like, what did I respond to? Because I've never done Estes method before, really. So I've only done it once at my sister's house. But we asked them if they were just going to stand in the hall and make noise and not talk to us. And you went, yep. So I was like, okay. But when we came out of the hole and went back into one of the housing units there was nobody left in the hole, but we could hear people having a conversation down in the hole. We turned and looked, and then looked at our group because we're like, are we missing somebody? We weren't missing anybody.
Whoa.
I've never heard talking like that, like two voices communicating with each other. It was really cool.
That is cool. Because you think if you heard that noise while using like a store or something, you probably wouldn't take any notice of it. You'd just be like, oh, there's people talking around the corner. But in that environment, like, obviously your senses are heightened and you're hearing that. That's wild.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it wasn't just me, because we were all lined up. We were doing an experiment, an EVP experiment. So we were all around a table holding hands. And so all of us were there. And it was me and Ashley, and then I think Erica might have heard it too, but we heard it and we all turned around and looked back and then looked at each other like, but it was like two people having a conversation and then it stopped. It was very cool.
That is cool. Man, so you had a pretty wild weekend.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
quite a
And
lot there.
then the nightmare of getting home, because when I flew out there, is when the federal government was shut down here. And so, you know, people were having to work without pay and all that. And I used to work with the feds. I remember those days. That's a really crappy time to have to work without pay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my flight there wasn't canceled, but heading back, one of my flights got canceled and I had to rent a car and drive home. But
man.
I got home.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I cried half the way home, but that's okay because I was just so tired. I had been up for like 37 hours at that point. So I was so tired.
Wow.
I was just ready to go home.
How long did it take to get back?
Oh gosh. So the reason I was up that long, because when we did Belvoir Saturday, I didn't go to bed till 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then was up and we had to drive to Missouri State Penitentiary in Jefferson City. And so I was up from like 8 a.m. until we got back from Missouri State Penitentiary at like 3:30 in the morning. My flight took off at like 6:07.
And
7. And then
what is that? I don't
6:07. I don't know. I don't either, but I know that's what we were for Halloween. And then, so there was no point of me going to bed because I had to get on a flight. And so I was just awake. And then when I got to my layover, they said, sorry, your flight's canceled. So, yep, but it was fine. I got home. I made it home. But yeah, by the time I got home, I was at around 37 hours awake by the time I went to bed finally, I guess I should say. It was a long day.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
Man.
I love sleep. I'm not made for that kind of investigator kind of life. I'm a storyteller. I'm not a paranormal investigator.
Interesting stuff, though. Very
very
interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like we've had quite a storytelling podcast tonight. This has been like a sit around the campfire, which is sort of what I was thinking tonight. Like a story. Christmas is here.
It.
You know,
Yes.
in Christmas tradition in the UK, it was always to sit around the fire and tell paranormal stories. And that's what we've done tonight.
I love that.
Yeah.
We have. It's been a blast. I'm so glad you had me back.
Right, so it's a pleasure. Anytime. I have loved talking to you again. It's so cool. This is about 6 hours. There's about 6 hours of us talking now. So if people can listen and listen to the whole thing, it will take up their whole day and enjoy hearing the wild stories that we have to share.
Listen at work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
zone out at work. You got to listen to Tommy's first, and then I have 2 parts of Tommy's on mine, and then back to Tommy's.
Let's go. Can you tell the listeners
go
where they can find you and your awesome show?
You can find me Ghost Gossip Podcast. I'm on all platforms. You can see a video version of my show on YouTube, and you can find me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the things. I am everywhere. And you can also email me at ghostgossip247@gmail.com.
Awesome. Head over there, hit 5 stars, subscribe, because it is awesome.
Yes.
Awesome stuff.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed tonight, and let's do this again in the new year.
Absolutely. Always, you just let me know and I'm here.
Awesome. Thank you. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you have, share it where you can. That is a great way to support the podcast. We'll be back very soon for more freaky conversations. In the meantime, stay safe and keep it freaky. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
See you later.
Something's in your room. You can't move. You can't speak. It's a horrible feeling.
You know, you're looking out into the darkness and then you see a figure, but it's darker than the darkness.
I just get this like really creepy feeling, and I see this like shadowy, demon-looking figure in the front seat of the car.
She used to come into my room at night and stand right by my bed, and I just was petrified.
I remember I saw something fly by my bedroom window. We heard the bathroom door shut. So then we looked out my bedroom window down the hallway and the bathroom door was wide open.
So we came around the bend and we saw eye shine. This thing stood up. I mean, it stood up. And it had high pointed ears. It had a snout, had a long arm, and it grabbed the deer.